The first example of using TabPy is not particularly useful, but it will allow us to explore some of the features of TabPy and how to make use of them. So I've loaded an older version of the car sales database into Tableau, and I've created a report that shows the average sales price and the median sales price by country. The Python script should look at the difference between the average and median sales price and return large if the difference is more than 1,000 and small otherwise. So a large difference, for example, may indicate between these two measures of central tendency may indicate that there are a number of outliers, while a small difference indicates that there may not be any outliers. So in order to call the script, we have to create a calculated field. And I'm going to call that difference. In the pane in which we type the formula, I start by typing SC, and you see we now have a number of additional functions available. In all cases, the first argument to the function is going to be a string, which is the Python code, and there may be in any other number of other arguments, and those are the arguments that are passed from Tableau, the values that pass from Tableau into the script. Which function, which version of this function to use depends on the type of the data value you want to return. Well, in our case, we want to return a string, so I'm going to use script string. Okay, so we'll start with the string, which is the Python code we're going to run. And then we say, well, what we want to pass in is the average of the sales price and the median of that sales price as well. Okay. Now, it's important to realize that the way you refer to these arguments inside the script is that the first one is underscore arg1, the second one is underscore arg2, and so on if we have more of them. However, and that's important as well, what Tableau passes into the Python script are lists. So you get the list of average sales price. So what we need to do is make sure we only look at the first of that list. So here we go. If, and now we look at underscore arg1 0. So the first one in that average sales price list that gets passed into Python. Then we're going to subtract the first one of the median sales price, and we're going to say if that is larger than 1,000, then we're going to return large, else we're going to return small. And you will of course notice that what the syntax that we use in here is Python syntax. So I'm going to say OK, and then I'm going to pass this one added to the visualization. And you see that we have a problem now because it says large for everyone, and it certainly shouldn't be large, for example, for, well, say for Spain. The reason is that difference is a table calculation, and by default, when you do a table calculation, it uses the entire table. So we need to change that. So if we do compute using, you see it uses the entire table. If we set this to pane or to cell, then we only look at it within these panes. So let's put it down to pane. And now you see we get the values that we wanted. It's a simple example, but it shows what you can do with TabPy.